right. But I would say, incomplete. I think that everybody has power, and they need to acknowledge their power. Just like an animal farm, some of us have more power than others. That's real, and that's when you start talking about inequality. In terms of laws, there are plenty of people that are pissed off. Go to Barrio Logan, ask people how pissed off they are that it's taken 9 years and they still don't have a groundbreaking for the supermarket they were promised at 25th and Commercial, right after the Rodney King riots. How long ago was that? Almost 18 years? That property has been vacant. So yeah, they're angry. Except for one small thing. The person in Tierra Santa who has the Vons and Albertsons and that really big-ass Vons, she's not angry. So Lupita, who's here maybe illegally, and even if she is here legally, she's making $10 an hour, maybe, working 2 jobs, has 2 kids. She's going to phone up her legislator. But the nice lady in Tierra Santa, after she finishes going to Vons, doesn't exactly feel the same compelling need to call. So laws are helpful if we do them. And that's where power comes in. I'm lucky as a marginally, and this is where it comes in with me. We've been talking a lot about race in class. And I've told you, if you've been listening, a lot of my own story, where I grew up, how I more or less am now. And if you really want to play fast and loose with middle class, I guess I'm middle class now. Really fast and loose. But I know that I have power. I know that if I go, and I've done it, if I go, well-dressed, well-spoken African-American woman, and I speak just like this, and I say, excuse me, I bought this, and it seems to have a spot on it, and I wear the right earrings, and I look like I'm not going to beat you up or steal your car, I will probably get what I need. But that is so dependent on whether or not I can get I'm going to be blunt, a 21-year-old white person, or a person who is an agent for power at the Vons or at the Trader Joe's to decide that I'm worth allowing me to have that other yogurt because I said it was off. Can you imagine if someone says that, well, you ate half of it? People do that. I think that's part of privilege that I expect as a middle-class woman, and it doesn't always happen, but I expect as a middle-class woman, though, if I say something is so, it's so. I expect that if I write a decent, well-reasoned letter and email it, that I will at least get a formula back. But I also have had the privilege of knowing how to write a decent, cogent letter. I know how to get on the internet because I have it, and I have the bright, shiny Toshiba to find out who my councilman is so he can talk about ordinance change. When we talk about barriers, we're talking about this as well. So that's what I mean when it talks about allies. I have power. You don't. I stand right next to you. And I do a few other things. I listen. I don't decide, because I'm all mad and I'm all pissed off and I'm the one in power, that I know what you need. That's colonialism, it's imperialism, it's appropriation of your pain. And it's also, you don't have to take care of me. I feel so bad about your plight. I really want to help you. Help me. Help you. We do that. So we have to look at our own motivations. We're going to talk about that later when we talk about how to be allies. And one of the words that I would put up there, if I knew how to spell it without spell check, gosh, your skills just go, is ambivalence. We've been talking about things as though we're all assuming that everybody is on the same page all the time, every time. We're not. You guys, a lot of you guys are young, and there was a derogatory term that was used right here in San Diego State by activists in the mid-'80s. See, everyone said we were totally apathetic and all we cared about was new opera albums, but actually in the mid-'80s, this was actually a pretty good place for activism. Specifically, the apartheid movement, which was right there in your face, and solidarity, and one of the things that I participated in was liberation theology, which was talking about El Salvador and Colombia and liberating. So yes, there was a lot going on, but someone actually called some of us, you know how like they actually have, what do you guys call it now? LEGs, lesbians until graduation? I read that somewhere. I don't make this stuff up. Someone talked about, now they didn't actually use the word cug, but that was basically what they were saying. Committed until graduation. Committed to the struggle until you get to shave off your hair, stop wearing the tie-dye, get a really nice suit from Banana Republic, and jump into power. Mm-hmm. And align yourself with the power structure. That's privilege. That's real. And so when we talk about aligning with the structure, wow. I think that there are very few things that I have had in my life that have been hurtful more than when I have wonderful friends who are there with me until I actually need them. And then they're not there. Now you imagine you do that to an entire people group or an entire social class. I'm with you, I'm here, I like the reggae music, and I buy all my clothes hemp. Until it's time to actually start doing the work. Now that you've got the degree in your pocket, now that you're making something other than $9.92 an hour, now that you've got what you were talking about and you were talking about, now that you've got actual power, not potential power, but actual power to be able to move things. That's what I'm talking about when I'm talking about being an ally. Another small little story. Wow, this is going too fast, you guys. But during my 1980s times when I was like a really progressive but very uptight evangelical Christian, I'm not like that now. Oh no, you're gonna laugh. But I'm still pretty uptight. But still progressive though. But there was like this at my church, this thing where they found out that Kmart at the time was selling Playboy. And everyone was coming up, I'm never going to go to Kmart again. It's like, well, it's not like, it's like you're saying you're never going to go to the Louvre, but whatever. I'm never going to go to Kmart again. They sell Playboy. And even then, I'm like 20 years old, and it's like kind of, did you tell them? Did you tell them that you'd made this huge moral and ethical choice? Because guess what? They're not noticing. How much did you buy from them last month? You bought flip-flops and a slip. They're not noticing you. Did you take the next step and write the letter? Did you go up to the manager at the Kmart on 54th? Is it still a Kmart? I don't think so. But did you go up there and say, I am not going to patronize your store until you stop selling Playboys because I'm really tight? If you're not willing to go there and out yourself in that way, and it's way down scrolly, but I'm losing time. If you're not willing to out yourself and really take a stand as to where you believe, you can be all up here, all you want. It's awesome. You can think all the right things. You can like get the subscription to like The Atlantic and Mother Jones and Utney. You can do everything right. You can get really nice little vegan shoes. You can do everything right. But if no one knows you're doing it, if you live in Tierra Santa and you're doing everything right and someone comes and talks to you about those damn people on food stamps and you happen to know that food stamps are actually not welfare but part of the USDA, U.S. Department of Agriculture, it is a farm subsidy that just happens to feed poor people. If you know that and your neighbor from Tierra Santa doesn't and she's complaining about the woman that she saw using her little EBT card and you say nothing, you're colluding. You are siding with power. If you go into Whole Foods to buy the really pretty shiny apple, because it's like it's so shiny, literally, I check my lipstick on it. It's like, ooh. Seriously, they're like really cool. They're like, I swear, you could just put them in there. They're like porcelain. But if you're not going up there and once in a while, writing a letter, writing an email, maybe even every time you go in there, thank you for allowing me to come to this wonderful Whole Foods where I'm allowed to spend $4.95 for my tomato.